A very good morning, Fabio here. EURUSD has made a pullback so far after grabbing liquidity underneath this overall swing low. As we can see, we are currently situated inside this daily area of supply. Now, this is a crucial area for EURUSD, as this is a level from where we should either sell off back in towards the downside, or if we break that high, this could start fueling a potential pullback in towards the upside. So what I'm doing is I'm looking at the 4-hour time frame, and on the 4-hour time frame, I can identify that the overall fractal structure for now has flipped bullish. So after grabbing liquidity underneath that swing low, we can clearly see a change of character in towards the highs, a pullback, and then another push in towards the upside. Okay, so this was your initial change of character. We get the pullback down, and then we get the next push up. So for now, the overall area of demand that I'm focusing on here for EURUSD is this. If we break this area of demand, then I'll be interested in shorting this once again. Otherwise, what could happen is just another push in towards the highs, back up in towards this supply zone, grab liquidity above this high over here, and then either sell off or then move up higher. And obviously, once we reach that area of supply, or if we reach that area of demand, you look for your confirmation to take the trade. Going in towards the daily, as you guys know, if we break on the 4-hour this area of demand, okay, so this area of demand, if that is broken on the 4-hour, then we look at the daily, and then we will look to see if the market is ready to push down lower in towards this next area of demand. By the way, guys, going live inside Discord this afternoon, so make sure to join if you have not yet. Link in the description down below. The dollar index made a pullback in towards the downside. As we all can very clearly see, the overall fractal structure is still bullish. At this point in time, this low, so the low of this bullish candle, is our overall fractal low here on the daily. Currently, we are inside of this daily imbalance candle, which is supporting price. This previous sub for the buy has already been tapped into. And what do I mean with tapped into? Demand has already been grabbed with this wick over here, and then straight away a reversal. Now, this is your area of demand, this imbalance candle on the daily. And I'm trying to focus on a further continuation of the dollar. If we start breaking this, this could be the first sign of a potential pullback in towards the downside. Obviously, if this demand zone holds, then we'll just expect the next leg up here on the dollar index. Looking here at the 4-hour time frame, we can also very clearly see that there is still a lot of support here on the demand zone. And as long as this 4-hour low holds, we should definitely continue our next leg up. Going into AUDUSD, what can we see here on the daily? Now on AUDUSD, and let me just remove the lines for you real quick, we can see that we grab liquidity underneath this low. Now, AUDUSD is a little bit different than the other dollar pairs, just because the Australian dollar is extremely weak when it comes to unemployment, the balance sheets, inflation, interest rates, everything. The Australian dollar is just weaker than the dollar. Therefore, based on fundamentals, AUDUSD has been pushing down lower. So AUD very weak and the US dollar pretty strong, and this just gives a more, let's say, parabolic effect in pushing down lower. So as you can see, again, we just tapped yesterday in towards that daily area of supply, which we mentioned in yesterday's video, and from there we're just selling off in towards the downside once again. So this is just perfectly order flow playing out and pushing the market down lower. Preferably, what I was looking for was just one more push up yesterday or tonight, in towards the highs, in towards this area of supply, and then a sell-off in towards the downside. I personally was not interested in selling from this so-called weak high. So if we do pull up one more time, then I'll be interested in a short. Otherwise, I'll just let it go. Overall, it should continue down lower as long as this daily structure is holding. And yeah, personally, I'm not really doing anything with AU at the moment, except for looking for further downside. If new structure were to form on the 4-hour and the daily, then we'll just keep an eye on that. But then again, just keep in mind that we're building quite a lot of liquidity above these descending highs. So shorting from here is getting lower and lower probability, especially where we're trading at now. This is not an, let's say, a selling opportunity, because this is the low, and once you see a break of structure, what do you expect? You expect a pullback. So I would not try to capitalize on this, only look for sales from that supply zone. That is what I am doing, and going into the daily, it makes sense. If the daily sees another push down lower, we could break this fractal structure and see a fractal low break over here, and that would then mean that this imbalance candle, so this buy before the sell-off candle, then becomes our next area of supply, from where we again can look to trade the continuation down lower. Going from AUDUSD into GBPUSD, GBPUSD has started to sell off lower again, so the pound is also weak against the dollar. The pound itself is not necessarily very weak, but the pound against the dollar, a pound against the Swiss are weak. So when we look at the balance sheets and the sovereign risk in the Great Britain, in the United Kingdom, it is not performing well. Inflation is under control in the United Kingdom. However, definitely looking at unemployment and also looking at the balance sheets and sovereign risk, the pound should expect to weaken, and the dollar is just again simply very strong at the moment, also with the upcoming elections. So it does make sense for GBPUSD to sell off. Looking here at the 1 hour, we can then again very clearly see yesterday that we got a 1 hour change of character over here. And from there, after the 1 hour fractal break, we pull back in towards what? In towards this supply zone. And now we're seeing some bearish pressure. This is not an optimal setup for me personally. I am not trading this. I'm focusing on some other pairs, just because if we just remove these zones, we can see these very clear descending highs, right? So this high, then we have this high, and then we have this lower high again. So I would only be interested in looking for shorts if we take out those highs and then look for a shorting opportunity. But then again, fundamentally, it makes sense for GBPUSD to sell off. The dollar is still strong. So yes, you could look for a selling opportunity, but it's just not ideal. I am more focused at the moment on AUD and NZDUSD if they make sizable pullbacks. So NZDUSD itself has pulled further in towards the downside. Eventually, it did sell off from this area of supply. So on NZDUSD, I was looking for a similar setup as on AU. I was preferably looking to take out these equal highs yesterday, see a push in towards this area of supply, and then sell off. That for me was the optimal short, just because we're trading inside an area of daily demand. And when you're trading inside an area of daily demand, you just want to take it with a little bit more caution. Obviously, we've also already seen a daily break of structure. So after a break of structure and coming in towards daily demand, it is logic to anticipate that there is going to be a potential pullback. However, what's now interesting, we've made a daily change of character in towards the downside. So this is just a continuation, like we call it. So this now means that this is your daily fractal high, and the daily fractal high is now a lot closer, which is a good thing, because if we break that daily fractal high and this daily area of supply, that could indicate already that we can start looking for a pullback. So instead of having to wait for this high, we're now just waiting for this high to break to then trade a potential pullback in towards the highs. Obviously, the overall momentum and the order flow and the structure, everything is still pointing in towards the downside. So definitely do not just simply go long if we break this high, but it is a sign that we could potentially see some further downside very soon. Or upside, excuse me. So I'm looking at that, but for now, obviously shorts are the only things that we're interested in, but we are building up a lot of liquidity above the highs. Therefore, I'm not very interested in looking for shorts in this region, and that is similar to what I was explaining on AUDUSD. Going into gold, last of all, what are we seeing on gold? Gold obviously liquidated the lows as we explained yesterday, V-shaped reversal in towards the highs, and it is finding some resistance from this area of supply. Personally, I'm not interested still in shorting gold. I am still only interested in looking for further upside, but what I would like to see is a sizable pullback on gold to then move up higher once again. So let's wait for that to happen, because obviously we've made a massive push up. So we're looking for something similar, potentially like this over here, where we get a sizable pullback. So as you can see, it still has a lot of time to make that pullback. I would already be interested in looking for some longs, maybe if we take out this low again and then see some change of characters up and then trade the order flow up higher. If you want to be a little bit more aggressive, then yes, gold could start trading up higher towards that 3,000 level. So that's it for today, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in once again. Make sure to join Discord. We're going to go live inside there, and I'll see you there.